Hi, it's Rob here again. And if this film started automatically, or this video started automatically for you, it did so because it's recognized, and I've recognized, that you're a special person. What kind of special person, you might ask yourself? Well, the answer is you're a subscriber. And I started this venture some 2 years ago just by buying a video camera and trying my best not to make too many mistakes when uploading. And since then 2 years have elapsed, and in the meantime there have become quite a few subscribers, so I'd just like to say thank you. And since it's not just family and immediate friends anymore, I feel I owe you a bit of an update. So you may have noticed that the home page has been tidied up a bit. The reason I've done that is that I want to make it a bit more accessible for people. As you know, I make certain classifications or categories of videos, and these are the projects which you see. I'm in my workshop, so that's where most of them happen. But not only projects, making things or making something special, saving money, but I also like to just show you stuff, and those are called my quick looks. And so all the projects that I've done and the ones I'll be doing coming up will be in a collection which is public now, and in fact I think collection is the wrong term. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's a collection of videos which, if you want, can play one after the other, and if you don't, then you can stop them. But anyway, the idea is to put these, to collect them all together and make them clear that they are projects, they belong together. And the same I've done for the quick looks. So all quick looks, like the P75, which is the SIG P220, or the K31 or the K11 rifles, Swiss rifles, as well as other equipment which is not necessarily about shooting. I'll put in the quick looks, so that's, you'll know where to find that. Then I've got an area on the homepage I'm going to dedicate to special topics. The current one, here we are, the 1st of February 2015, doesn't time fly when you're having fun, is about a PMR. This is a European 446 megahertz two-way radio, license-free two-way radio standard, and a range test I did on several types of, two types of radios with 3 types of antennas or 4 types of antennas. Anyway, that's not quite, that job is not quite finished yet. The range test is on the website, but I want to be able to show you in some detail the radios that were involved. But I'll talk about that a bit later. And then coming up is the section on out and about in Switzerland. Now, you can hear I'm not born Swiss, but I do have lived here for many years, and I think you'll be as enthusiastic about Switzerland as I am. I've been here so long and seen so many things, and I love it to bits. I really think it's, I hope I won't annoy anybody by saying this, but it's God's playground. I mean, you have really everything you could imagine here, except sea. Okay, no sea. It's Switzerland in the middle of Europe, but we do have lakes. So out and about in Switzerland, the idea of this is just to be able to take you along, really, and have a look at some of the places I go to, and effectively sit on the the top of the dashboard with me and have a look at the scenery as we go along. I've also shown some views taken out of the apartment here, as it has snowed recently and made beautiful scenery, or the scenery even more beautiful. I've got a focus on the K31 rifle also. This is a collection of other people's videos, which is also publicly available for you. The reason is I think it's a very interesting rifle. It has a lot of fans around the world. As you probably know, the guns fans amongst you will know it's a straight pull design, probably the most successful straight pull design. And it's also still highly accurate. It's amazing. Entered service in 1931 and these things are still tack drivers. Blows me away. And right at the bottom of the page is are some Swiss shooting events, because as you know I take part in competitions at my modest level, I might add, but I still take part. And half of the fun is the fact that these are very often very historic things. So the Rütli-Schießen we took part in this year, 2014, or sorry, last year, 2014. And the Habsburg Schießen, which we also took part, I think, more or less every year since we were able to attend. And will probably be coming up again this year. I probably won't cover it in quite so much detail, maybe just some highlights, but I think it's really quite a nice event, well worth coming along to. And thanks to this kind of coverage, I've also received some invitations to take part in other historic events and perhaps also cover them. So we'll see if I'm able to do that. And then at the very, very bottom of the page is the upload section, which is not in, I think it's in the order of most recently uploaded. So if you are looking for something specific, that's probably where you can find it with 100% certainty, if you know that I uploaded it, and maybe I didn't add it to a collection. So that's I think more or less about the reorganization of the homepage. I want you to be able to find stuff easier, and that's really been one of the drivers of the reorganization. And the other thing I'm doing to help you find stuff easier is to tag the films a bit, or the videos a bit more systematically than I have done before. Before, I have to admit to being rather lazy about that, and took whatever Google suggested, but it's mostly not too appropriate. And so I'll be improving that over the time, and all the new ones will be tagged with what I can imagine might be meaningful search terms. So I hope you'll be able to find those a bit easier. And then some other aspects which perhaps are not so apparent. I've added to my video equipment. I started, like I said, only I think about 2 years ago with one video camera, which is served me very well, I must say. Sony device with a nice picture. This is what is looking at me right now, or you're I'm being filmed for you right now with a Sony. And that is, like I say, it served me very well. I think it's a very competent design. Picture quality, I think, is excellent. And considering that it's using stereo mics based into the bottom of the, just under the lens, I think the sound quality is not too bad either. However, I'm aware that that's not covering all needs, and so I've added to my equipment recently by adding a Sony Action Cam. And in fact, I've got my box of tricks behind me. So this is what I keep all my video equipment in. You can see it's rather compact. And I will make a video later on about just what I use. I think this is very useful for people because if you're struggling as I am to coming from a completely different area and suddenly having to learn about making videos, it's really not something you can just fall into. So, or I think so anyway. So this is the little thing that I've bought. This is a Sony Action Cam, and I'll be using this increasingly in the future in combination with the camera that is taking me now. So this is actually in the underwater casing. The camera itself is even smaller than this and is the white thing inside. And so far I must say that I'm very, very impressed with the results. Both cameras have the Sony picture stability or stabilizing, what do they call it? Steady shot. Sony steady shot mechanism. And I have to say that that is really very competent. So I look forward to being able to put this on my mountain bike and take you along, just really for the hell of it, because around here we've got some very nice countryside, but also I want to improvise and attach this perhaps to a rifle, so you get a more or less a first person point of view shot of shooting. So we'll see how far we go with that, but as you can see it's very small. A battery charge lasts about 2 hours amazingly, so I think that's really quite good, and it shoots in HD, has integrated GPS anyway. Really a very interesting little device. So that's the latest addition to my video equipment, and which I hope to be able to make more interesting videos for you. Now the bits that I don't have in this box are the fact that I've had to upgrade my PC. I had an aging laptop with XP on it. That has slowly come to the end of its life, and I dragged it out as long as possible, and I think as somebody with some IT knowledge I have managed to keep it relatively quick, but it is definitely overfaced by video editing, and so I've just got a new desktop which is nice and fast, has a 4-core Intel processor running quite high speeds, also has a solid-state disk as well as very large hard disk, and of course I can see my network attached storage all from this. So that's a big help, and because of the new PC I've also bought video editing software from Corel, their VideoStudio Pro X7, and so I'm learning how to use that, and some loudspeakers so that I can actually hear what kind of sound quality is coming across. Those are Creative T40s, so if you set them up right they sound quite good. They can, if you don't set them up right, sound awful. So you just have to pay some attention to setting them up correctly. What I still haven't got, and do I think need, are some better microphones. Perhaps a lavalier, as we say in French, not lavalier or anything like that. A lavalier mic to clip onto the collar, and perhaps a gun mic, a long directional mic to pick up sounds when there's a lot of ambient noise we want to keep away. So microphones are needed, and what's definitely on the cards are improved mounts. Some of my car driving videos have been really with improvised mounts, and you see that in the rockiness of some of the pictures that I've asked Google to process away. So if there are some strange artifacts, as there might be, I think the latest Alpine Drive video has some trees that suddenly grow on the mountainside. That's one of the artifacts of the smoothing algorithm. And so hopefully I won't need to use the software smoothing if they're mounted correctly. So that's as far as the website is concerned, as far as improving the video equipment side is concerned. But then I also want to bring more and varied and interesting topics, I hope, for you. And so upcoming we've got this thing, which is a copy of a well-known knife sharpener. You can see this thing. You're supposed to attach a sharpening stone under here, and hold the knife on here, and then run this to and fro, sharpening the knife. This one is a Chinese copy of a better known, I think, American version. I bought that in Germany, and I'd just like to kind of give you a feel for whether it's doing its job or not. Then of course there's the topic of knives. Everybody who's seen the new homepage will have seen this guy. That's the Glock, on which I've now fitted a glass breaker or hammer. Glock 78 field knife. But I don't think anybody of you has heard me mention this guy, which is the Gerber LMF2. Also a very, very nice, interesting survival knife. And my latest acquisition, very reasonably priced I must say, is this guy, which is this Mora Swedish Army knife, which I've now polished. I'm trying not to make a hole in my finger. Now polished up. Can you see that? Maybe there. There we are. Polished up with what some people in the know call Smurf poo. Get that, eh? In German Schlumpfscheiße. That amuses me no end, I must say, this name. This is this pale blue sharpening compound, which I luckily have to hand, and which you can use on your strop to help polish up the blade, which makes water pearl off. I'll say that again. Makes water pearl off, and makes the blade somewhat sharper and more resistant to nicks. So that's another topic I'd like to cover, is these new knives. There's also the topic of fire starters. This is something that's fascinated me recently. I've just come up with some of the channels that I watch have been showing how these things work. So scraping a bit of steel down this fire steel here, or indeed shaving some of this magnesium off and then lighting it with this fire steel here. I've never done that. I'd like to give it a try, and I'll bring you along for the ride. So that's something else I'd like to be covering. And then sometimes you may hear a disembodied voice speaking. When I'm speaking to you, there comes another voice, and it's going to be my partner, who's up in the apartment, and she wants to tell me that some event has happened. I should go back to the apartment, and that comes over this, which is a PMR handheld. And this particular one is a, oh gosh, I'm going to say Baofeng, but I know the pronunciation is incorrect. If you want to hear it said correctly, go to HandyRadio in the UK. This is a HandyRadio channel, and the guy there, whose name I don't dare say because I'm sure I'll get it wrong, will tell you the correct pronunciation of what I call Baofeng. So if you're watching, I'm still learning the pronunciation, okay. So that's one, and this is one of the antennas that was under test. But there are so many tests of that I'm going to call Baofeng BF888S, that's this one I just showed you. I won't do a test of that. I did the range test, and I think that's covered a gap which didn't seem to be totally covered in all the distances that I did on the on YouTube. So that's why I did it. But a review of the radio, there are very competent ones already there. Check out, for example, HandyRadio's channel, and you'll see. But the one that there is not very any good tests of is this one. This is called the Allen HP452A, a bit of a mouthful. In the US, something that looks identical is sold as the Midland GXT 5000. I don't really know very much about the Midland GXT 5000, but I know quite a bit more about this, and I'd quite like to show you everything that it can do. And yeah, so that's something that I want to be able to cover in a future video. Then a bit of a bet I've got on with the guy from HandyRadio is that after he's now several times has shown motorized two-wheelers, motorbikes and scooters that he's been trying out and indeed bought, I've made a promise that I will show my motorbike, so that will come up when the weather is improved and when the snow is gone, probably around May or June. Yeah, so there we go. Something else I'd like to cover, some different aspects of, are my small caliber Ruger 1022T. Now I think you may have seen, I've got one video about an improvised cheek rest for that rifle. The reason I want to cover it is I've now got the definitive solution for the cheek rest, and I'm really very pleased with the accuracy. It hadn't been so clear to me before that the reason I wasn't hitting things accurately was because I didn't have a good cheek weld. And so now that's solved, and in fact last Sunday we took this rifle to a very special range in the mountains, underneath a mountain I have to add, and at 100 meters, so over 100 yards, I was busy hitting. Let me just get a measure. So all of you Anglo-Saxons will recognise this, I should imagine. I was able to hit a circle this size at 100 yards repeatedly, time after time after time after time. That's what I call tack driver, and I hadn't realised that the reason I couldn't do that was because my head had no cheek weld before. And so I just want to show that and maybe reinforce the importance of having a good cheek weld for rifle shooting. That really brought it home to me last week, that it's really something that is absolutely essential. So that's another topic I want to cover. I'm jumping about a bit now. I want to cover some homemade video camera, or could be still camera, mounts. I'm going to, I bought some bits and bobs from the DIY store, also some sheet aluminium and some aluminium profiles, which I want to use to add some kind of improvised mounts to various objects, whether it be in the car, so using a sucking pad or vacuum. I really can't think of the English for it anymore. It's really annoying. This thing, which used to be a mount for a navigator in the GPS sat-nav in the car. My sat-nav died the other day, so I've got a spare suction cup holder, but I want to be able to mount the video camera on it, so I'm going to start with this as a mini project and see where that takes me. So, homemade improvised mounts for cameras, whether video or still camera. And another thing I want to have a look at is what affects radio communication. What are the parameters and the things to look out for when you want this to talk to this over a certain distance? And actually it's not quite as simple as you might imagine. Even having complete direct line of sight can be not quite enough. So there are some factors to look out for, and I want to show you. I hope it doesn't sound boring, but from a theoretical side, we won't do any maths, don't worry. I'll do a lot of, maybe do some sketches, just to show you the kind of factors. Because I think when you're in the field, if you know about these things, the chances of your achieving better range with one of these can be better. Okay, so it's basic knowledge about radio propagation, how these things behave when radiating to another one who's trying to reply to you. So if you have this basic knowledge, you should be able to achieve better ranges or more reliable communications or better quality, or all of those, or some of those. So that's the name of that particular game. And then the next factor, see, for once I've made some notes of what I'd like to say, so I hope it's keeping the flow going a little bit better. A young lady commented on one of my videos, I think it was the Glock, was it the Glock one? No, it was the one about the one about I made about the honeycomb filter. I don't know if you've seen that one, but this young lady wrote, it's an interesting video, but this guy speaks so slowly. And indeed she's right, I do speak slowly, and half of the reason is I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, because I don't want to say anything that's wrong. The fact that I speak several other languages means that I've got a whole bunch of other words which are flying around inside my head when I'm trying to pick out only the English ones. Sounds a bit more dramatic than it really is. So I'm conscious I want to keep the flow a little bit higher, or better. So having said that, and having made some notes about what I want to say, I have to pick out the particular form or piece of paper I want here. The next topic I'd like to touch on is the number of views. I've been very humbled by the fact that quite a lot of people have wanted to see some of this stuff. It's a very strange feeling. I'm just sitting in this room talking to a camera which is looking at me all the time, as I hope you are still. And but I am perfectly alone. I've got some lights on, but I'm still nevertheless an old guy in a room talking to himself. So it's a bit of a strange feeling. And so I'm very gratified that people actually want to hear this rambling. Or at least they want to have a look at some of the things I do when I ramble, like making those little projects. So one of the very gratifying things is that the honeycomb flash filter, little project which cost next to nothing, but produces something quite useful. I've got 14,000 views on that already, and this really blows me away. Also, the cheek rest for the Ruger 1022 picked up 2,500 views. My ceramic knife sharpener, which I keep handily under the table, which is in its folded away state, just making that thing, 5,000 people have looked at that. Or converting the excuse me, bolt release of the Ruger to auto drop the bolt, the auto bolt release for the Ruger 1022 with the Dremel. So modifying the standard one, making an auto bolt release with the Dremel. That picked up 10,000 views. The homemade rifle rest. That blows me away. 7,000 people have wanted to look at that too. So I must be doing something right. Even quick looks at the Browning 1906 pistol or the SIG P75, the Swiss Army pistol, have really picked up an awful lot of views. So I'm really very humbled by that, and therefore I feel it even more of my responsibility to try and up the quality a little bit. So those are the some of the drivers also behind my wanting to improve things. And then penultimate step in this little update video is I'd like to do some shout-outs. This is something I've never done before, but there are some channels I've discovered recently, and other ones which I've known about for a much longer time. I think it was in 2009 I started looking at YouTube regularly, especially in connection with firearms. So I'd like to do some shout-outs. One is to Callum of English Shooting. I'll put the lists down below, the links down below. Callum of English Shooting, this is a relatively new channel, and you might think that English and shooting are an oxymoron, self-contradicting. Because of the strong laws that we have in UK, and the fact that, for example, at the moment it's very difficult, if not nigh on impossible, to actually have a pistol. So English shooting has been traditionally related mostly to what you can do with a shotgun, and some selected rifle shooting. So Callum's doing a very good job there, and he's recently been to a show. I haven't seen the results yet, but that I think will be an interesting thing. Another one, he really doesn't need this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because Eric of Iraq Veteran 8888 is a fan of Swiss firearms, particularly the K31. And if you've ever watched his videos, you'll know that this guy is really very well read. He's a very bright, intelligent guy, and he's got a very nice presentation of very interesting topics. And I find it very rewarding watching him and his colleagues and friends, I should say, doing their usually firearm related videos. Another one I'd like to give a shout out to is, I'm sorry, I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's I think Haugland of HandyRadio UK. So I just want to say thanks. I've really enjoyed your videos, and I'm enjoying our exchanges that we have on topics of radio and two-wheelers, motorcycles, and who knows, maybe you'll get into firearms, but we'll see. Another one is I've discovered videos which are more about countryside and being at one with the countryside recently. Maybe it's because I'm getting old or something, I don't know. But what I've really appreciated recently is Mike at MCQBushcraft. Mike at MCQBushcraft has been making some really stunningly beautiful videos about, I suppose, relatively simple but for me new skills and topics. And the latest one I saw, he's got a very, very nice handmade knife from Jacklore Knives. Jacklore Knives is also an excellent channel, well worth looking at. In fact, he has the same guy, Sandy, has another channel called Wiltshire Man, where he takes on the idea of bushcraft or even a multi-day trek across the south of England, by foot, camping and so on. It's really, really very, very rewarding stuff. This is a very limited list. I couldn't I've got about 500 subscriptions to various channels because I'm interested in lots of things. You may keep hearing from time to time that I have a science training, so I'm a physicist, and I'm interested in that kind of stuff too. But I don't ram that down your throat. Another guy, or another topic that is completely off what I'm doing here is model aircraft flying. Of course, I'm a boy, so I love aeroplanes. I think they kind of go together. And there's a channel, TBobBorap1. I really don't know if I'm splitting that up correctly. TBobBorap1, which is about usually large-scale model aircraft flying. The skill that goes into making these aircraft is fantastic. I really, really appreciate it. I love aircraft anyway, but these large-scale ones are just mind-blowing. I love them. So TBobBorap1 or TBobBorap1, model aircraft flying. Another one that I want to go to is MainePrepper. This is an US ex-military guy who has been injured, and so he's fighting. He's got some fighting to do also again for his health, and he's gone off. Let's say he's been away, but he's recently come back, and I wish him really all the best. He's has deeply impressed me with his integrity, but also his intellect, and I can only say get well soon. We're all rooting for you, and I don't know his first name. He maintains very good OPSEC, but he's doing a great job, and I really wait eagerly for the very next video he produces. And I think this list, very first preliminary list, would not be complete without mentioning Thomas of THLR.NO channel. It's a strange, or let's say a rather cryptic name, but it's Thomas Haugland Long Range shooting channel from Norway, hence the .NO. And some of the scenery where Thomas shoots is absolutely mind-bogglingly beautiful. Imagine, well, I suppose similar to Scotland, if for those who know it, so quite northerly landscapes, as you might expect in Norway, and but of course also with the sea, with fjords going down to the sea. It's just amazing, and I devour his eagerly when they come out. So those are just a very few shout-outs, all in rather varied topics, and so I think with that I'll just draw this little channel update to a close. I hope I haven't rambled too long. If not, I'll split it up into two halves. And want to thank you again really for subscribing, and I really do appreciate it, and I try to take every comment seriously. I really don't find I have many trolls. Maybe that was the wrong thing to say, but I don't really have many trolls, and so I'm really very grateful to all of you people with integrity, intelligence, who are watching my ramblings.